All right. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the live stream. Appreciate you guys being here. I realize it's been over like 2 weeks since I've done a live stream on my channel, which I can't even really believe. Time just flies by, but we're here live. Happy to be with you guys. So, welcome. Go ahead and drop something in the chat to let us know that you're here, where you're coming from, any fragrances that you might be wearing. Um, put it down in the chat. It's all fair game. I'm going to bring the esteemed guest in here very shortly, just in a couple minutes. Just wanted to say hello, give some people to pop in. I see Jared is here as usual. The bromance strengthens tonight, gents. Yes, guess you could say that. Always appreciate you being here, Jared. Um, let's see, Joel. Always good to see you. Joel's Matrix is here. TLTG is reminding y'all, don't forget to hit the like. It is completely free in every sense. Nothing to lose, I guarantee it. And if you lose something while you like the video, let me know and maybe I can make it up to you. But I don't think it's going to be an issue. Brass and Soul Scent of the Day. That is a rarity. Kevin, happy to see that. Hope you're enjoying it. Let's see here. Russell, good to see you, man. It was great to chat with you a little bit earlier. Let's see here. Okay. Patrick, I'm so glad we got those samples to you. I know they had to travel quite a ways to get to where you're at in the world, but I'm happy you're enjoying them. Hope that continues. Okay. We got 63 in here. I'm going to bring in my good friend, our special guest, the left side of the thumbnail, if you will, the one and only TLTG Reviews.
I like that. How are you, my guy? How are you?
I'm great, man. How about yourself? How's this Wednesday treating you?
It's been a great day so far. I have to say, we did a little quick first impressions unboxing stream over on my channel for a little while. I had time to kill, twiddling my thumbs. Might as well talk about some fragrances.
Yeah, man.
Pretty excited about this. In honor of today, I'm actually wearing Layton.
I did see that.
Such a great revisit, man. It's been since last, basically winter.
Yeah.
But I've worn it, and it's one thing to spray it when you're talking about it in a video, but to wear it, totally different experience.
Oh yeah, for sure. I actually almost wore Layton myself. I was this close. I was like, I should wear a Parfum and MARLY today. Which one? And then I just kind of decided, you know what? I don't know if I feel like wearing Layton. So let me just wear something I feel like wearing, and obviously Layton will get its limelight today. Today I'm actually wearing something totally different. Terre Parfum.
So I've been back and forth about grabbing that one. Sell me again, because you've already sold me about I'm an oak moss guy. So
okay. Yeah, I mean, have you smelled the original EDT?
Yes.
Okay. How do you feel about it?
It grew on me. I used to not like it. It used to smell very funky, like roach spray on me. It's very weird, I know.
No,
but
I get it.
I've finally emptied my carded sample, and I actually have O Intense Vetiver now, which is much more challenging than the EDT. And I've grown to really appreciate that line. I don't know if it's my palate changed or what, but much more appreciation for that line. And hearing you speak about the oak moss in that one really you kind of sparked my interest not long ago when you first got it.
The Parfum, what I can say about it, at least in my experience, if you remotely like the EDT, you will like this even more. And that goes to anyone who especially finds the EDT to be a little too sharp, a little too dirty. People say it smells like dirty old man covered in orange, like whatever you want to call it, whatever. I think it's a timeless masterpiece of a DNA, and it's just budding and growing and blossoming throughout the years, obviously. But this is just a Parfum is the perfect name for this. It is a perfect concentration flanker, in that it takes the scent, it kind of compresses it, and it like shaves off the rough edges. So it's smoother, it's more refined, it is less fresh. It's less spicy. It's definitely less like earthy, but it's still that dry, slightly bitter woodiness with a little bit of a juicy citrus in there. A little bit of spice, but again, not quite as prickly as before. And I think the original EDT has quite a bit of ISOE super floating around the heart that kind of fills out the heart in this interesting woody, musky way that when you smell it, it almost smells a little unnatural, but it just works.
Yeah.
That is toned down, and to my nose, quite a bit. This is almost, dare I say, more natural smelling. So a really, really, it's it's kind of a similar wearing experience, but I kind of wear them for different functions. Like this is something that I will say for the slightly cooler weather. I'm not pulling this out in the summer as much as I might do Terre d'Hermes, even though EDT is not something I would wear on a hot day out. I might
That's what
say
those
that
Givrays for.
exactly.
Mhm.
But the Parfum is great. I can't say it's wildly different, but so you have to just go into it knowing that okay, this is not going to be a different fragrance, but I'd say it's a different behaving fragrance. So I love it.
I would say it's almost 100% at this point. When there's a designer line, if it's a DNA that appeals to me, my favorite always ends up being the Parfum concentration.
Mm,
And I think it's because of the refinement, the smoothing of the edges, all the things you spoke
yeah,
of with that. Wears a little closer, lasts a little longer. It's not real in your face. It leaves some room for discovery. It can dress up or down. It's a bit more versatile in that way.
yeah,
Probably dresses up better than the lighter concentration
for
overall.
sure.
So those types of characteristics really speak to me. That's why I hold like a Bleu de Chanel Parfum in such high regard, because
Same,
it elevates the scent profile so greatly to me. So
same
I have
here.
a feeling that that'll probably be my favorite because I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it at some point.
I think you're gonna dig it. Noah Birch, thank you for the $5 super chat. Gonna love to see his opinions on a great house. Halton and Carlisle are my favorites. Awesome, good stuff. People are corroborating Halton, which I don't have much experience with,
I get
honestly.
asked all the time. I've never smelled it. I've heard an even more mass appealing oud for happiness, oud for greatness kind of range,
Yes, I only
something
smelled
like
it
that.
on paper in a store. Honestly, I wasn't impressed. I found it pleasant, but I'm like, well, it's really nice. I would totally wear this, but it's Parfum and Marley. It's an expensive house, high price tag. I'm like, I don't know if I would pay a high price tag for this type of profile. That's a topic for another time, though. But it's nice.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Have you tried Altair?
Still haven't tried it. No.
You're going to feel the same way, probably. I know your
That's what I've
taste. You're
been
going to feel
hearing.
the same way of every way you just described Altair. It's nice, but
Yeah.
it's like I even said in my live stream, I don't even know if I'd buy a 75 ml for $150. It
Wow.
reminds me of too many things in the opening. It's
Okay.
nice. It's
Yeah,
nice just for the money.
exactly. Yeah. And when you consider it niche, it's like,
Yeah.
is this really, I don't know. And again,
Yeah. I'm
topic
glad
for
I bought a
another time.
decant first.
Yeah. Yeah. I do want to try it. I probably will.
It's
Vulcanist,
nice.
thank you so much. Once again, always popping in our
The
chats here.
king of the super chat, as I've dubbed
Seriously.
him. He never makes his presence known without $10 from me. It's
we
uncanny.
we appreciate you, man. Frapon 1270 Extreme. I actually have that. I like it. I haven't worn it a ton. I do think I prefer the original.
I have the original.
The original's
It's great.
beautiful. I mean, people crap on it for saying it lasts 10, 11 minutes, which is not really the
Not true.
case. Yeah, I mean, it's not a beast, but it's not like gone the next time you blink kind of
I get
thing.
like
But
6 or 7 hours.
yeah, it's
Beautiful
fine.
for that time too.
Yeah.
Very,
I like
very busy.
it is. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's kind of a layered fragrance, but it all
Hmm.
works together very well. The extreme version is very different, honestly, from the
I've tried it.
original. Like they kind of went a whole different direction with it, and it's fine, but in relation to the original, it's kind of a head scratcher. I'm like, this is not what I was expecting, but it's good. A lot of orange blossom in there, but kind of ambery sweet, maybe a little boozy, but not really. I know there was another super chat. Smelly, thank you so much. I'll always love that avatar, man.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
know.
like
I know. It cracks
it's
me up
like
every time I see it. My
menacing,
chance.
but also hilarious. Pegasus Exclusive is a man's scent. Okay. I need to honestly spend more time with Pegasus Exclusive.
It is superior to the original, I think. I had a
Yeah.
decant of it. Still
Yeah.
have a few sprays. I'm sure it's bad by now though. Decants, they don't last for years.
Yeah, it really depends on how it's packaged. At least,
Like
the ones I
this
find
will
that are,
last. The travel atomizers from the brands,
yes,
those last.
those they're sealed up pretty good. And
Yeah.
oh, Joel, I keep forgetting to answer this question. I think you've asked it 3 times now.
I recommended you earlier for this. Yeah.
Roadster. So I do have Roadster. Roadster is a beautiful scent. It is relatively simple. But there's nothing that it really truly reminds me of outside of like kind of Lolita people always correct me on this. Lolita Limpitska. It looks like Limpica, I guess, but it's
I always thought it was Limpica.
I always thought it was too until people started correcting me. I think it's Limpitska. Green Lover. If you smelled Green Lover, it's kind of in that vein. Green Lover is more of an orange scent. It's like a fresh orange creamsicle is the best way I can describe that one. But Roadster is kind of a more refined version of it. It's less sweet. It's kind of a creamy, minty vetiver with a little bit of sweetness. Fresh, maybe a little woody as it dries. It's a great summer scent, great high heat summer scent that is a little bit more elegant, but still pretty casual, not too serious. But it's nice. I mean, I can't say it's like a stunner or like a must have for the summer or like wows me or like I get this face, this look on my face when I spray it. But I enjoy every time I did wear it. So, I mean, I'd look into it, but I'm not going to say it's the best from the house or even in like the top 5, but it is really nice.
Joel mentioned earlier that he was interested in it. I said, well, Justin's your one-stop Cartier shop. That's who you need to ask.
Yeah, next stop, get me on Cartier's.
Yeah. When I think Cartier fragrances, you come to mind.
Yeah. Okay, man, I'm happy about that. We need more talk. Okay, we are 12 minutes in. So I think it's about time we dive into this. Mr. Gumbo, aka Hot Grease, with the $20 super chat. Thank you so much.
That's the man. He hit me with $20 last night too. I love his name.
Appreciate you, man.
It's hilarious.
Mr. Gumbo. I mean, I love me some Gumbo, aka Hot Grease with the fire. Appreciate you. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that the title of this video and the entire presentation of it makes it clear what we're doing today. But in case you're not sure exactly what's happening today, everyone, what I asked Ross to do, well, we kind of conferred back and forth about our current Parfum de Marly collections, because we have our own separate collections of them. We have some overlap, and we also have some ones that one person has, the other doesn't. So we were really focusing on the overlap. So we settled on 7 fragrances from the house that we both have, and we both individually and secretly, I guess you could say, ranked those 7 fragrances from 7 to 1. Neither of us knows each other's rankings. So this video is kind of an experiment. We're just going to compare and see how everything stacks up from 7 to 1. I said head to head and all that. It's there's no winning here or anything, but it's just a fun time. So
yeah, there really can't be a winner, honestly.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm better because this is at number 1. It's like,
this is my number 1, so I won.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, yeah, you won. How'd you do it? Jared Miller, thank you for the super chat. Always appreciate you. Zed Creators in the house. That's right. In case you guys forgot, there should be possibly a link in the description where you can still go grab that stuff. I see Kyler is wearing his Evening Mystique. Good stuff.
Shout out to Kyler.
Yes.
Indeed. It is Zed Creators 2.0 season. All 3 are very autumn friendly.
Oh,
summer was not a favorable season for any of the 3, to be honest with you. Indoor, sure, but not really outdoor hot weather kind of stuff. But now they're built for the transitional seasons.
Well. This is the time as we move into holiday season. And if you're gonna do it, now's the time, and especially since they may not last through the end of the year. So time's running out on that end. Not so famous YouTuber, thank you for the super chat. I have a couple frags thanks to that. Fro on the left, the beard on the right. Awesome. Hope you like
Shout out to Spencer.
Okay, so we got the premise laid out. I think it's all clear. So how about we just dive into this?
Let's do it.
Ross, I would love for you to start us off with your number 7. What is that number
So
7 for you?
so here's my question: should we let them know
Yes.
what the 7 are before we
I
dive
was
into
just
it?
thinking that, and I was trying to figure out the best way to actually do that so that everything is clear. And um, how can I do this? I wonder if I can just make a banner with just all 7 names on the screen. Maybe
Yeah,
that'll probably be the best way to do it. And I'll just try to do it in some random
yeah.
order. I'm just going to type it all right
I
now.
mean, I can lead into it while you're typing if you'd like.
If you'd like to, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's smooth
So
it out.
one of the 7 that he's typing out. Now, look, some of you are going to get in your feelings. I would hope not when it comes to some of these rankings, because your favorite may not be my number 1 or Justin's number 1. And again, it's all opinions and it's all subjectivity. But know that these are the 7 favorites for the most part. That's why they're here, because we do have decants of others and we have bottles of others. We have well beyond these 7. But for me, Greenley's my number 7.
Okay.
Apple, greens, woods, super easygoing, mass appealing. This is one of those fragrances that gets them dubbed as high price designers. It's fragrances like this that gets Parfums de
Definitely.
Marly that moniker. But if you've ever smelled it, it's a beautiful, easygoing fragrance. If you're looking for that next step up from designers for the performance, for the blend, while not really going challenging in any way, just still easy to wear, going to probably pull some compliments for you depending on where you're at and so on. But this is one of those fragrances. If mass appealing had a collage picture next to it in the Urban Dictionary, this would probably be one of the fragrances in that collage.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's great for transitional seasons. It works fine in the summer, but springtime in a bottle to me, and works well here in the autumn season because it has that green fruity feel to it from the apple. The woods are soft and not really dense and sharp.
Yes.
It's super nice. And it's
Yes.
really good performer too. That's my number
Yes.
7.
Okay. I dig it. And the reason is because that is also my number 7. I just got this little 10 mil, what's a 9 mil that I put a couple sprays in. And to me, I mean, I see so many comments that people like, when I mention Parfum Marley, Greenley just sprouts from the ground in the comments. Greenley's amazing. Greenley's the best. Greenley's the best.
It
And
is good.
everybody's about some Greenley. And I'm like, I don't see it. I mean, I don't find it. I just kind of nod my head and like, yeah, but I find it pleasant. It's fine. But I mean, I told you this. To me, it's associative for me. To me, this smells like a shampoo I used to use as a kid.
I have heard you say that. Yes.
Yes. So that's not everyone's experience, of course, but that's kind of what ruins it for me. I'm just like, it smells like a hair product to me. I see the apple. I see it's a little green as per the name, and it's fresh. It's pleasant, but I just don't want it on my body.
Looking at the way you're moving while you're talking, it's like you're trying to be nice and not say, this is hot garbage. I'm so glad I bought a decant.
No, it's not even, it's not garbage. It's nice, but it's just not. I guess there's such a disparity between what people think about it, the other people's experience and mine. And
well, your relation is the reason
exactly
for what you're saying.
exactly.
If you didn't have that relation to it,
Yeah,
you'd probably
yeah,
feel quite different.
exactly. And I don't have a ton of fragrances like that where like so many people are like, this is it. And I am just on the other side of the spectrum, not even trying to be a snob or anything, just like,
See, there's the truth with that face right there. There's the truth, guys.
So, again, if you like it, please don't take this as a knock. Keep doing your thing. Wear Greenley.
Well, I already saw the list is a sham because there's no Herod and stuff like that. Like, I get it. That's why I was prefaced before I said Greenley with guys. Just understand, like, this was compiled based off of Justin gave me the list. Like, what all do you have? And he got back with me a little while later. Rank these 7. So that's basically what we did. I happen to like all 7. Totally. Clearly, he's not a Greenley fan. It's kind of worked out.
I mean, again, I don't dislike it. And one thing I did forget to mention, obviously, guys, we're only talking about 7 Parfum de Marlys here. They have more than 7 in the catalog. There's many hot ones that you obviously don't see here on this list. You don't see Herod. You don't see Pegasus, you don't see Ojan. There's so many here that are good, that are just, we don't have the overlap, and that is what it is.
Yeah.
I will say that Herod, I'm just going to put it as kind of an honorable mention. Herod is one of my favorites. This would honestly be pretty high in the list if we were considering it as a part of our overlap ranking.
He actually asked me,
yeah.
"Do you still have your decan of Herod?"
Yeah.
I said, "No, it's gone."
Actually, I wanted to ask you about your experience with Herod, and if there's a reason why it's gone, unless you just finished it or it just wasn't your thing, or what happened.
Oh, I have a fun tangent for that one. So anybody that's seen my review on it knows exactly what happened to it. So it was when we were visiting in Colorado Springs before we moved.
Okay.
I did a few walking around the neighborhood with a selfie stick, basically recording myself doing a walking around the neighborhood review, basically. And it was from Unique,
Okay.
that company we had a while back.
Sure.
So I was going through it, talking about how much I enjoyed it. It is a beautiful, relatively sweet tobacco scent. It really is. I've been meaning to get a bottle for so long. I do really enjoy the scent. It would be above Greenley for sure. It is a great tobacco. And I left it in towards the end of the review. I'm walking on the sidewalk. I tripped on a crack a little bit, stumbled enough to where it went out my hand and broke, hit the ground and broke while I'm doing a review recording.
Oh,
that's
man.
So that I still had like probably 5 ml left in the 8 ml decant.
Yeah.
So that's what happened to that. And I just never got around to getting it. This happened, it's 3.5, almost 4 years ago. It's been a while. Yeah.
And you just never came back. The heartbreak was too deep.
It was upsetting when it happened.
Yeah, I would be upset too.
I went through a few ml and I was like, all right, let's do a review. I did a YSL-Y EDP review the day before. Like, I was liking the format. It was a real nice neighborhood. It was cold outside. Let's do this. And I lost Herod in the process.
That's too bad, man. Well, I do hope that there's some convenient time for you to come back around to it when it makes sense. Because again, I love it. It was my first of the house that I ever smelled. Actually, back in the day, I got a sample. I did a terrible review on that sample that's still up on my channel from like 6 years ago. And then I ended up getting a bottle, fell in love with it, loved it. I went through that whole purge for some weird, dumb reason. I got rid of it, and I knew I wanted it back, so I got it back about a year and change.
You got a few fragrances where you rebought them because you got rid of them a few years ago.
That's how you know they're special. That's how you know, like, you know what? I actually do really enjoy this. Like, that's the test. Now, you don't have to. It's severe. It's a severe test. You don't have to do it that way.
So, fun fact for you guys: if you ask Justin, every single old video of his, he doesn't like. Every single one. Some of my favorites of his are from the beginning, like I get the battle video, Dior Homme Intense and Dior Homme Parfum. He hates that video.
I mean, it's just, I appreciate it. And it was just me being sincere and having a good time. Obviously, I can see the growth, but
How about the one in the park with the bad audio?
Oh, the girl on. Oh, yes. Again, good times. Just, the good old days of simple and just being just innocent with your channel. Just like, oh, like maybe I'll make a video on this now. Like,
at the time, it's like, this is such a great idea. I'm going to record this.
Yes,
I'm going to
exactly.
do it now, right now.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, let's keep it moving. Ross, number 7 for you was Greenley. Number 7 for me was Greenley. What is your number 6?
So number 6, I don't have a full bottle. I did have almost full 30 ml that may EJ rest in peace. EJ Wells decanted his bottle and sent me. This is from the original 2.5 ounce bottles before they ever put a 4.2 ounce out. So this is early Layton Exclusif. It's a monster. It's a very special occasion. I sprayed a little heavier than I need when I do. It's animalistic. Layton is how you can look at it. It's Layton Exclusif.
Okay, Layton Exclusif.
Yeah, so you can see there's a nice dent in it because I've had it for years now. EJ gave this to me a long time ago, and I do like to wear it on special occasions because it's a very special fragrance. You smell the original Layton, but you add some oud, some more dark animalics, and you have Layton Exclusif. Ramp up the performance a little bit because Layton's already a very strong fragrance in itself.
For sure. For sure.
Oh, this has that funkiness, but in such a good primal kind of way to it. Like it pulls you in. I could see this being polarizing for some, but this is one of those fragrances that if you enjoy it, you really enjoy it. Which may surprise some of you that it's my number 6 since I'm saying these things, but I enjoy all 7 of these.
Sure.
But something's got to come in at 6, something's got to come in at 5,
of course,
and so on. So wearability is what plays a big role for me into having it lower.
Sure.
Versus if this was purely on smell, it'd be in the top 2 or 3 for sure, because it's one of those animalistic, somewhat mass appealing fragrances that really speak to me. So it's good stuff. It's really, really good stuff. Absolutely sample worthy. Nothing safe about this as a blind buy. And he had decanted me so much that I'll never need a bottle. With the vast amount of fragrances I have, this was probably
that's
lifetime
not going
worth.
anywhere.
Yeah,
that's
it's
not
lifetime
going anywhere.
worth for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 6, Layton Exclusif.
Awesome. Victor, I see you just popped in. So far, we've done number 7 and 6. 7 for both of us was Greenley. Ross just announced his number 6 at, which was Layton Exclusif. Interesting story, really brief about Layton Exclusif. I just realized this based on your background with getting that decant. My first step into Layton Exclusif was also from a decant gifted to me from Chris, aka Mr. Siage. You remember him?
I do. Wow. So both of us is from friends that have passed.
It's wild.
Wow.
Man.
I did not know that.
Realized that. There's some of you guys who may not know him. I think he passed in 2017.
Yeah, this was before Fragcom really started to grow heavily.
Yeah.
This is the older days. Wow,
Yeah.
Mr. Siage. I haven't heard Chris's name in forever.
Yeah, man. It's honestly that I think I still have the decant somewhere. It's empty now, but I keep it, and it's kind of haunting, but I keep it just as kind of a memento.
Keepsake kind of thing.
Yeah, because he was a good guy, just a real giving, really just caring guy. So I really appreciated him. My number 6, some of you guys might be a little bit shocked or not, whatever, but this is my number 6. I enjoyed this. This is quite a leap from Greenley for me. So there is a bit of a gap in terms of my likability with this one. This is one that my wife enjoys on me more than I enjoy wearing it, because there's memories tied to the beginnings of our relationship. Percival. All right. So some people might consider it pretty low. Now, again, I like Percival. It is kind of it's a part of a family of fragrances that all kind of smell similar, like the Mont Blanc Legend, the Abercrombie & Fitch Fierce, and all that. I think it is the superior of all the bunch of its own little family here, even though it's not the originator. It is the superior one. It is still, in my opinion, a little expensive for the type of fragrance that it is, because again, the others, while maybe not being quite as good quality or as long lasting, smell just as good and will do the same job as this does. However, again, subjectively, I can say it's superior. I enjoy it fresh, musky, kind of citrusy, but not quite bright. But kind of shower gel-ish, fresh, a little spiciness in there. Simple scent, very wearable, very likable, easily one of my most complimented.
I was about to say, I bet you get some compliments with it.
Yeah, it's the one I'd say this and one more, I would say I've gotten the most either compliments or questions, like, oh, what is that you're wearing, kind of thing. So I enjoy it. I wear it every now and then.
Anosmia is a real issue with that one because it is nuclear powerful.
Yeah, it's really strong for a fresh scent.
Really strong.
It is chock full of synthetics that keep it hanging around more than I think you need it to, but not a bad thing.
It's incredible. I think it's an incredible fragrance. It's higher up on my list, clearly.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, that was my number 6. Okay, so we're on to your number 5.
So this is one that I think you're going to have higher than me.
Okay.
Whereas Percival, I had higher than you.
Okay.
I think this is the switch out because we both really like this one. And it's going to surprise some people that it's at number 5, but we're talking about Sedley. So
good stuff.
With wearability being such a factor for me, this is probably going to surprise some of you because this is probably the most wearable. I mean, even more so over Greenley and Percival with versatility. This is probably their most versatile fragrance.
Agreed.
As far as masculine releases. So it's a little fougerish. There's a little bit of ambroxan. They like to use their synthetics.
Yep.
With some citrus, some mint, creamy lavender. There's a lot going on here. It's a deeper scent than I think it really gets credit for. And it's underappreciated for how well this stuff performs.
Yeah.
This stuff will last long, long, long into your day. You'll be shocked. I've gotten compliments 7, 8, 9 hours into the day walking in my Siage. I know Anthony from Curly Scent's channel. He's
Yeah.
had similar experience. I know you have as well.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised. Your nose will wear out, and it's still going pretty strong with a nice trail.
For sure.
With this one, I suggest this being one of the first everyone tries. This is a great dip your toe into the house fragrance, where
Definitely.
even though it's kind of, people would dub it a glorified designer,
Mm.
this is another one of those fragrances for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really good at what it does. It's really good. Like, I think this is upper tier for versatility that has a masculine tone. There's no mistaking, nothing unisex about this fragrance. Not saying there's women that won't enjoy this, but it doesn't come across feminine in any way, shape, or form. And it can go t-shirt. It can go Oxford with some buttons open like Justin's doing. You could throw a suit and tie. It's literally really good in every situation year round. So it's one of those Swiss Army knives, which for those of you familiar with me and my channel, you're probably shocked. Like, that's typically my thing. This should be my number one if that's the case. But the scent profile is going to factor in more from this point on. It's where the scent comes across a little bit more special to me. So the wearability factor starts to drop down my rankings a little bit more. This is the last one I would consider ultra wearable. The next several, it's going to come down to scent mainly.
Yes. Yeah.
So
taste.
So my number 5 is Sedley.
For
surprisingly, I'm sure.
For sure. Yeah, Sedley, I agree with everything you said about it. And, you know, I think something that not a lot of people know is I'm pretty sure Sedley came out 2019, 2020, maybe 2019 or maybe 2018. I can't remember now, but I think in 2020 it was reformulated, and they made it this very public reformulation. Apparently, Glenn, Mr. Cologne, may have had something to do with that, because I was
That's
talking
my
to
understanding.
him. Yeah, I was talking to him, and he said he approached Yvonne personally and said, "This is a great scent, but can we make it stronger?" And I guess he heard him out, and I don't know if he was the single moving piece, but nonetheless, they went back to the drawing board. They beefed it up a bit, and they made it stronger. So I think it sounds like we both have possibly reformulated bottles of it.
Yeah, this is a
no
newer version.
slouch. Yeah, it's no slouch for being so fresh.
I got this in
bright.
21. This
Okay.
was the next round. Yeah, I got this in 21.
Yeah, I think I got mine that same year. Yeah, maybe late 2020, something like that. Just in case some of you guys are popping in late, I'm seeing some comments of people saying, you guys don't even have Herod, like no hot, like it's like, okay, yeah, guys, we don't have all of them. We're doing based on overlap, right? So only the ones that we both have experience with are the ones we've included. I was talking about Herod earlier. I do have it. It's one of my favorites. It would be high up, but it's just not part of the lineup today, and that's okay. Maybe we'll revisit this sometime later on. So, you know, don't be mad. Just sit here and enjoy it. Hope you enjoy what you're seeing. So Ross's number 5 was Sedley. Solid.
Indeed.
Love that one. My number 5. This is one that I really never talk about on the channel. I only have a decan of it from Unique You, as you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I couldn't remember exactly how to pronounce it.
Yeah. Unique You, guys, is a German-based like fragrance subscription service, and they got a really unique, pun intended, catalog of fragrances. So I actually made a real quick swap right before we started. Percival was at this spot right before we started, but I swapped Percival down one to actually put, you're not gonna be able to read it, but it's Kalan. Kalan at my number 5. And honestly, I put this on my skin this morning, and I was sitting with it a bit, and that's what kind of spurred the switch. After a few hours, I was smelling it throughout my morning. I'm like, I think I like this a little bit more than Percival. And I never really considered Kalan. Yeah, me too, because I hadn't smelled it in probably 2 years, because I kind of wrote it off when I got this decan. I'm like, it's okay. It reminds me of like a blood orange spicy Baccarat Rouge. That's the vibe that I got.
That's fair.
But it settles into something a little bit more unique than that. It has its own thing, and it's probably one of the more unique ones in the house, honestly. As far as the ones they've come out with in the past few years, it's more special than I remember it being. So I might have to grab that juicy red bottle and see if it'll
I'm loving
have
what
a
I'm
good
hearing,
place.
man. It's a good one.
It's good. Yeah. It's better than I remember when I first smelled it when it came out, and I was like, but now I'm like, this is good. So we'll see about it.
Sometimes they have to grow on you. I always go
Yeah.
back to Dylan Blue. I didn't like
Yes.
Versace Dylan Blue, the beloved blue fragrance. I didn't like it at
Yes.
first. It took me like 4 or 5 tries, and now I
Mm.
absolutely love it. Totally
You know
different.
what? The funny thing about Dylan Blue, I had it years ago. I thought it was fine. I ended up getting rid of it, and I actually revisited it for the first time, maybe like 6 months ago, for the first time in probably 4 or 5 years. I was at a Sephora. It was sitting there, and I'm like, you know what? Let's see. I gave it a spray. I think I actually included it in a vlog when I was out sniffing, and I was like, this is better than I remembered. At least I liked it more than I remembered. So I'm like, I might have to come back to this. It wasn't special, but it was like,
Yeah.
there's more going on here than I remember. Anyway, okay, so we are at the 4th spot. 4th spot. What's your
Indeed.
4th?
Well, this one's going to disappoint some people because at one time this was my number 1.
Hmm.
And some of you know right away when I say that. It's Carlisle.
Okay.
Believe it or not,
I'm here
Carlisle
for
has
it, man.
fallen from grace from 1st to 4th over time.
That's
Over
all
time.
right.
Shout outs to Grace.
Yes.
So I do love the fruitiness to it, the earthy florals, the resinous tones. I get why people relate it to red tobacco, but I really think there's more differences than there are similarities overall. It's eternally powerful on my skin. This is 4 sprays is kind of too much. I learned my lesson years ago with this one. This one lingers. It's really potent. It's a cool weather fragrance. It's sweet and resinous. I mean, I don't really have almost like a caramel-like consistency to the aroma without smelling like caramel, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like there's a richness to it, a very thick type of aroma
Sure.
without being too heavy.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting balance. But I think it's harmonious when it comes to the scent profile. It's just everything's so smooth, glides from one accord into the next. And like I said, it goes back to just phenomenal performance as well. Like I said, at one time, this was my favorite. Then I expanded upon the collection, and certain things spoke to me a little bit more. So that's why it's fallen from 1 to 4. That's quite a drop, obviously.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, it fell down the stairs a little bit there. Hope it's
Because
okay.
the other 3, I got one of them. I got not like a couple weeks after, but the other 3 I got after the fact, and they worked for me a bit more than this did, though I still love and appreciate this fragrance. And I understand why it's number 1 for a lot of people. Because like I said, at one time, it was my favorite Parfums de Marly back when I only had 4 bottles and didn't have a bunch of decants of other ones and stuff like that. It's one of those things. The more you sample, the more you expand, the more you learn about what you like from a certain house. And that was definitely, this was kind of a casualty of that, where it fell from grace. But it's a phenomenal scent. And anybody, if this is your favorite, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Totally get it. It's a phenomenal scent for the cooler weather. In some ways, superior to red tobacco. Scent profile alone, probably. It's not as wow in your face, holy crap type of moment with like red tobacco can be, but there's more of a sensual appeal to this one, I think.
I agree, especially compared to red tobacco. Red tobacco,
that's very pungent.
Yeah, and it's just screaming at you. Yeah, I mean, it's funny how you're talking about taste changing, and it's so easy for us to forget because people can be real judgmental of other people's tastes. Taste is not something that we control. When you really think about it, you don't choose your taste. You don't choose what you like and what you dislike, like genuinely, not just trying to dislike something or trying to like something. And it is what it is when you start out. It changes the way it changes depending on your input and how much you smell and stuff. And then it ends up where it ends up. So the fact that Carlisle dropped down, it is what it is. You can't control what this is, what this has given you, especially compared to other things that may have just kind of crept in. If you had to put them side by side, I get it takes the place. Sometimes things drop down. Cool.
Shout outs to Jared, by the way. I can't stand Enrique. He blocked Whiskey Reaper. I can't stand his ass.
Oh yeah, I saw he was putting in some funny comments.
Yeah, guys,
about the
in relation to all that stupid shit, don't believe everything you see on the internet.
Yeah.
Okay, there's context. That just don't believe everything you see, and we'll leave it at that.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. That goes for life in general. So
Good job, thank you. Every time you saw me move my mouse, I was debating. Should I block his ass?
Okay.
That's what I was doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here we are.
So
Okay. So just to keep everyone up to date, recap: our 7 spots were both Greenley. 6th was, remind me, Ross.
Layton Exclusif. For
Layton
me.
Exclusif. That's right. For me, it was Percival. Ross's number 5 was Sedley.
Sedley.
My number 5 was Kalan. All right. Ross's number 4 was just Carlisle. Some people are losing it a little bit, but they'll be okay. We will recover.
It's understandable.
Yes. My number 4, I really like this. The margins are getting smaller as we climb the ladder, so to speak. Some people might be surprised to see it this low. Again, I was considering more scent profile rather than wearability because this, as I'm probably giving it away. Sedley is my number 4. Sedley, I've proclaimed, is easily one of my favorites from the house. For whatever reason, it moves me. I like the wearing experience. I don't consider it a special fragrance. I don't even know if I would say it's like worth a blind buy. It's a safe blind buy. If you've never tried the house, I agree with you, Ross.
Too.
You know, and not because you won't like it, but just because you may not love it for the price that you paid for a full bottle. And you want to love it if you're going to pay this price, right? That's just the way I see it. You don't, oh, it's good. Okay. It's like, how long is that going to last? That'll be a month before you're tired of it, right? So you just want to be very careful with that. But do you think it's your life? I like Sedley. As you can see, I put a good little dent in this bottle. This is probably about
the yeah. You got a little bit less than me, but yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, this is probably like, maybe my second most worn in my collection from the house. So yeah, I mean, Ross described it well. I don't need to really add much more to it. It is very bright and uplifting. It has this kind of like sugary, fresh bite to it. I just think of like crushed sugar for some reason. But it's still very fresh and kind of juicy with that mandarin orange and minty. It's great.
Very minty, creamy, aromatic.
Yeah.
It is lovely.
Yeah.
I got to say, it's one that will grow on you, though, if you do decide to dive into it, even with getting, say, 5 ml. I would say don't get 1 or 2 ml. Get yourself 5 ml so you can spend time with it, because it's one that will just grow on you more and more and more.
I agree.
Before you know it, you're like, at first I thought it was okay. Now I need a bottle. It's one of those, I think, where it's not a love at first, but it can grow into one pretty easily.
Yes, totally agree with that. Okay, yeah, so that's my number 4, Sedley. We're on to the top 3. It's getting hot. Ross, what is your third spot here?
Well, this is the one where it's a bit higher. I'm a Percival guy.
Okay.
So reason being, it's no secret that, anybody that follows me knows that in this household, there's 2 scent DNAs that are big time hits. No matter what I wear, if they smell anything like these DNAs, my wife is going to enjoy it greatly. That's the Silver Mountain Water DNA and the Fierce DNA. And this is both our favorite. I agree with what Justin said. It's the ultimate form. For you Dragon Ball Z guys, this is Golden Frieza. This is Golden Frieza right here. Okay. Because it's the most potent and powerful. You will go nose blind to it. Majority of people that have talked to me about it seems to be it's a kind of unanimous thing. Most people go nose blind to it from all the Hedione and Kalan and Broxin and all these synthetics that are. It's loaded with aroma chemicals. But man, is this magnificent out in the air. For as loaded down with aroma chemicals as it is, it never comes across as a chemical mess to me. You would think something with all of that going on it would be, but they managed to make it, like Justin just said, a smooth composition with 4 sprays is showing out. It really is. In 30 minutes in, you made it. It only lasts 30 minutes, bro. No, your nose wore out.
Yes.
Compliment monster in my experience, as well as others I've talked to about this, or people that talk about their scent of the day. I know there's a lot of people's favorite, and that usually ties to people telling them they smell good. Because obviously things will rank a little bit higher if more times than not when you wear it, people tell you how good you smell, makes you feel a little better about the fragrance, doesn't it? So this is one of those. It takes what's a timeless era, a timeless fragrance of a certain era with Fierce, and makes the superior version. Basically, for being full of synthetics, it doesn't smell cheap and synthetic like Fierce kind of can.
Yes,
does that make sense?
Totally agree. Yeah, I mean, it is the final form is the best way to put it, for sure.
It really is. It's
Yeah.
such a good release. And this is another one that if you buy this, even from discounters, like a 75 ml like this, let's call it $150. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
You might be upset that you spent 150, but if you look at the current market,
Mhm.
most 100 ml designers are coming in at that on new release. And if you're looking at blue fragrances, this blows most of them out the water with what most people are looking for from a blue
Yes.
fragrance. Mass appeal, easy to wear, compliments and performance.
Yeah. It's all there. Yeah. I mean, those of you guys who really care about all four things that Ross just said, those four pillars of a
Yeah.
great fragrance, so to speak.
Yeah.
You could stop with Percival. Like that could be the one. If those things are your highest values, that could be it. You get them all there and you're good. But you know, it's up to you to
It's one of
decide
the
where the
better
journey ends.
it's one of the better mass appealing blue style fragrances I think that's on the market.
Yeah.
It's absolutely worth a try. And I will warn you that even if you're not a huge fan of it, let your girl smell it on you. Just discover it. Don't tell her, hey, babe, smell this. Just walk by her, see what happens. And I bet the probability is going to be high. Ooh, what are you wearing?
Yes. Yeah.
It's a
That
real
that
thing.
that musky component it's nose catching. It's like
Almost pheromonal and aphrodisiac
yes,
like, you know?
for sure. No, that's a great way to put it. I dig it. Okay, Ross's number 3 was Percival. Solid
Mhm.
place for that. My number 3 is a beloved favorite. Some people would place this higher, but you know we're not too far from the top here. Layton, the OG, I think came out 2016. I remember
Something
being
like that.
so excited when Layton dropped. It was people were saying so many things about it. I ended up getting myself a 10 milliliter decant back when it came out and loved it. I was like, oh, this stuff is good. I couldn't get enough. I drained that 10 mil and ended up getting this bottle maybe 2 years later, something like that. And I've had this bottle ever since. This is my original little 75 mil. At one point, I actually had a 125 mil that I think I gifted that to
Fun
someone. I don't
fact,
remember now.
the day I met Justin, he was wearing Parfums de Marley Layton at the 2019 Scent Explorer.
I sure was.
The
Yeah.
day I met him in person for the first time,
Yeah.
he was wearing Layton.
Yeah. And it's funny, you know, this is one of those fragrances that is surprisingly a little polarizing. Some people,
Yeah.
it's one side of the coin or the other. It's like either you get heads or tails. Some people get one side where it's like, oh yeah, this is like kind of mass appealing, leaning, but refined in its construction and you know the great balance of sweet, fresh, and spicy. You put all those things together, you got something that smells great. And then there's some people that get Vicks Vapor Rub, I guess,
I
which
talk about it.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
really depends. Like I
I
was
get
saying
it,
with
but I enjoy it.
yeah,
You know?
you know, and some people again, as I was talking about with Greenley, association with things can make or break a scent. I didn't really grow up with a ton of Vicks Vapor Rub in my, you know, my sick routine when I'm trying to feel better or
Allergies.
whatever. Okay.
I dealt with it.
Yes. So, but you found a way to get over it
I
somehow
love
because
it.
you,
I'm
yeah.
wearing it right now. I
Yes.
have 6 layers on right now.
Yes. Just
Yeah.
basking in it. And I think it's the geranium for some people that kind of makes it lean that way. I dig it too. So yeah, it's my number 3. It's a solid spot. I think it's one of those fragrances that I will always have in my collection, even though I don't wear it a ton. I do just like the way it smells. It's easy for me to pick it up and put it on if I'm in the mood for it. I never regret it. As soon as I spray it on, I'm like, oh yes, I'm glad I put this on. This is good stuff. And yeah, it's probably my most complimented out of all my PDMs. Easily. I could easily say that.
I could believe it.
Yeah. You know, again, not the reason why I wear it because I haven't worn it probably like a year, but I might reach for it this fall. We'll see about it.
Today's the first time I've reached for it since the winter.
As you were saying, yeah, almost a year. So
It's been a while.
yeah, we got a lot of stuff that comes through our collection, guys, and you know, we're always trying to switch it up. And I mean, I'm curious, Ross, how often would you say you wear a fragrance like more than once in a week?
Oh, rare.
Yeah.
Only if I'm like actively working on a full review on it
Yes.
will that happen.
Yeah.
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 That's pretty much it. Even if I'm really feeling a scent profile at the time, it might be next week I'm wearing it again. Like I leave it on the table, you know, kind of thing. But only when I'm actively working on a full review for something will I wear it multiple times in a week. Even if it's just a couple of sprays here and there, not even necessarily just spraying around the neck and stuff.
Likewise. Yeah. No, likewise. I totally get that. Okay. Well, we are reaching the top of the mountain here. We got the top 2 spots ready to be filled. I think obviously once we share our number 2s, our number 1s will be clear if people have been paying attention. Obviously, all 7 are here on screen. So if you've been checking them off, then you'll know what's coming, what's left for both of us. But what is your number 2, Ross? All right. We're just a spot apart from each other.
Definitely Layton. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And look, there very well could be some scent of the day bias here. I wonder if I wasn't wearing this today, would it have still taken number 2? But I do genuinely adore the scent profile. Wife told me how great I smelled earlier. She's like, "Oh, it's strong though." I said, "Yeah, I did do 6 sprays. I typically do 3 or 4 because all of these parfums, the Marley fragrances, perform phenomenally on me. I don't have to do more. 4 is a lot, you know, whereas 6, the extra 2 sprays are on top of my forearm. So I'm really, and they're not high heat areas. So it lasts all day long on those spots. But it's so I can go back to it if I'm not getting a hit of it and I feel like sniffing. I mean, we love fragrances. We want to smell them. I'll go back to it. But yeah, everything you said about this one, I agree with completely. That mentholic Vicks Vapor Rub opening, I actually adore. It's the only geranium note I've ever smelled that does that. Literally smells like that gelatin-like consistency, heavy menthol of Vicks Vapor Rub. It's kind of weird. And I know that can be off-putting for some people. And I think that's what does it, is that opening.
Okay. Nice. I just saw this comment I had to share with you. You know you wear Cuba Black every day, Ross.
It's Cuba Black Prestige, Spencer. Say it right. Spencer knows that's the only fragrance I actually hate.
Yes. I haven't smelled it. I want to try it, but I want to try your bottle
if you want.
I'm not going to have it. I will happily let me give it a sniff one time. All right, I'm out. Peace.
All right, next time I see you, I'll bring it. I'm using a blind smelling rate. And guys, watch him give it like a 9 out of 10. Yeah, watch.
Oh man, this is
amazing.
Fragrance of the year
right
here. This is niche. It has this pungency to it that just smells
very complex,
very
natural
artistic.
Smelling.
Yes, that's amazing.
But number 2, Layton. Yes. I mean, if you want something different, because it is very different. This was an original DNA, and the only thing that smells like it is all the clones of it.
Yep.
That's basically how you can look at it. It's one of the more original scents they've ever put out.
Yes.
It doesn't remind me of anything else. It just never has.
With Layton, I'll admit this, and I can easily say I was not really wrong, but I recognized like myself in a place I didn't need to be in. When I got Layton, as I just said, I loved it, wore the heck out of it. A couple years ago, I made this shift where I was like, it's basic, it's everywhere, it's so mainstream, whatever. It was just everywhere. It got so hyped.
Well, it got popular, yeah.
Yes. And so then I had to recognize that, you know what? I'm letting the hype influence the way I feel about this fragrance because I already liked it. So I had to come back to that place. I checked myself. And I agree with everything you just said. It is original. And the fact that they made an original DNA that is super mass appealing, that is not an easy balance to strike.
No,
it is a combination of elements that work in so many like mainstream designer fragrances, but the way they come together is not really like anything else. And I totally agree. Everything that smells like it came after it.
Yeah,
so people are talking about get Detour Noir. I haven't even
Detour
tried
Noir,
that.
which is it's kind of a more. It falls in between the Exclusif and this one because it's woody, very woody. Okay. It's solid, but this is like literally the other day when I talked about this in a list video. I went on a tangent because I know everybody's going to want to talk about the clones, and I said yes, there are a lot of really good clones of it, but this is one of those poster children for when I like to say that you can't get the magic of the original unless you have the original.
Yes.
This is one of them. This is one of the main ones I'm referencing. This has that something extra that no matter how much they want to run it through a machine and reverse engineer, they just can't capture the same essence of this fragrance. Close, but not that same just special something, that little something. I don't even know
I
how to
agree.
describe it. It's just a different feeling when you smell this versus every clone of it.
I totally agree, man. And I think kind of what you're speaking on is this idea that fragrances are not just scent, they're also vibe. And the vibe is obviously the scent itself is invisible, but the vibe is like it's kind of like cross dimensional. It's not even like contained in the scent. Like it's around you, but you can't really explain it. We can't tap into it. You just know it's there or you don't. And I think that's so important. You can copy a fragrance ingredient for ingredient, you spit it out. It doesn't have that vibe. It might have the scent. You get the idea across, but the way it affects you, you know, maybe I'm talking kind of esoteric, whatever, but I think it's undeniable. When you smell it, you know, and you're just talking about it. Like, yeah, you put them side by side, and it's like, no, there's some magic that is
Well,
missing.
development's what factors into it greatly as well. We're talking
Yeah.
about perfumers you don't know the name of versus master perfumers. You know, because don't get me wrong, I enjoy the clones. I'm not shitting
Yeah.
on the clones. I don't want anybody to think that. I enjoy it, especially when they have a twist. I prefer something a little different twist in the DNA than trying for a carbon copy. Because
Yeah.
when it's carbon copy, just go with the original. But I think that's part of it is the developmental side of the scent profile as it nuances, because the balancing act is going to be a bit different from somebody that's mastered the craft versus somebody that's getting paid to do it behind the scenes and reverse engineering someone else's work.
That's right.
So,
Yep.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. My number two here. I'm just gonna say it first and I'll explain it later. Carlisle,
Surprised.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Because you
Carlisle.
did not like that one for a while.
No, when I first got this bottle of Carlisle, probably 2 years ago, I think I got it in like the late spring. And it was already warming up a bit, but I figured, oh, it's still cool enough to, you know, wear it and see how it is. And I remember I gave it 2 tries. I wore it out one time, and I'm like, first blast, I'm like, okay, cool. And then within about 20 minutes, I'm walking around, I'm like
Suffocating you.
this, and not only that, but I'm like, oh, this smells off. Like something was like sour and just weird. I tried it again. Obviously, it was later, so it was even a little warmer. It was worse. I'm like, it's because, you know, getting in the summer now. I'm like, I don't think I like this. So I got on camera and I'm like, Carla, I don't see
remember.
it. You guys, what is it? Maybe it's the patchouli. I don't know. And then I had a lot of people chime in and saying, oh, me too. I had the same experience. That patchouli got real bitter on my skin. It's nasty and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I made up my mind. I don't like this. I came back to it, maybe not even that year, maybe the following year, but like in the winter. So like a year and a half later, I was just holding on to this bottle. In the meantime, I had a lot of people in my comments coming back to that video saying, you got to try it in the winter. Try it in the winter. Try when it's cold.
The only time I wear it, winter time. Even in the South, it's got to be 40 degrees or colder.
Yes. So I pulled it out. I just put it on my hand. I'm like, okay, let's see how it does after 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, okay. After an hour, maybe they were right. So I gave it that full wearing, and I'm like, you know what?
Less is more with that fragrance.
Yes. I do 2 to 3. 2 to 3.
That's all you need. The first time I wore it, I did 4, and I was like, I got to dial it back. It was suffocating me because I had wore it. That was when I worked at Mercedes when I first got it, and everybody was telling me, like, I smell you everywhere. Like the whole place all day has smelled like
yes.
They weren't complaining about the smell. It was just too strong.
Yes. Dude, there's something so big to that. I find that, I think I've talked about this in a video recently. When it comes to random public, just people who don't care about fragrances, who just, they smell what you put on.
Me that day. I remember distinctively.
You know, when it comes to, like, again, if you care about people liking your scent, most people will like most scent profiles. Like anything that doesn't smell like feces or anything of that type, yes, people are going to find it at least pleasant. And that includes designer all the way up through artistic niche. You'd be surprised. But what can ruin it is the strength. It's the potency. When there's an obnoxious smell, it throws people off. It turns people off. Even if you dialed it back, people might actually like it. But when you got just a ton, you're just filling up the room. That's why I don't understand room filling. Like, no one's gonna
There's a
really
time and a
like
place for
that.
everything, but
Yeah.
presence really matters when it comes to these
Yes.
strong
I mean,
fragrances.
timing is everything. If you're gonna do it at the office,
There's a time and place for it. You gotta really be mindful. And then the people are
yes.
like, screw them. I'm just gonna choke them out. Well, glad we don't hang out. You know?
Exactly. So yes, Carlisle is a beast. This is a scent. You already described it very well. All I'll say about its vibe, to me, it's elegant night out, but there is a touch of a bad boy edge to it. You know, I wouldn't put this in a suit or a tux or anything. This is like I'm wearing a black t-shirt, jeans, maybe a black leather jacket, but it doesn't smell like boyish and clubby and whatever. There is this kind of grown edge to it, but it's sexy. It's kind of alluring in a very confident way.
Goes back to what I was saying about there's a sensuality to it. There's something about it.
Yes.
DC's exclusive. I saw another one. He said I unliked just so I could hit the like again. That's kind of funny.
Oh, Crad, thank you so much. Appreciate that. There's a bunch of weirdo clowns coming in here. You guys go find something else to do with your day. Anyway, I'm popping them out one by one. Yeah, go get a life, guys. You're good. Okay, so we are at the top spot. I think a lot of people have been keeping track of what we've been saying. So maybe it's obvious, but it'll still be fun nonetheless. What is your number one spot, Ross? Peak of the mountain.
One of the most unique they've ever put out. One of the most polarizing. I'm a Kalan fan. I really like Parfums de Marly Kalan. Like you mentioned earlier, spicy blood orange, peppery, almost Baccarat Rouge. Like I get the faintest of BR 540, but it's only in the opening.
Yeah.
The weird thing I've always related it to is a red rubber ball. I know, but the next time you sniff it, next time you smell it on
red
skin,
rubber, which is great.
But you know what I'm talking? That red
Yes.
rubber has that distinctive weird smell to it.
I agree. Yes.
I get that. Heavy blood orange and pepper, lots of pepper, spicy, sharp, dense citrus. You have to like that. I find it so good. The first time I smelled it was the goodie bag from the Scent Explorer where we met.
Yes.
They had a sample in there. It just came out in 2019.
Yeah.
I blew through that sample kind of how you did with Layton. Went through the sample quick. Was fortunate enough to get my hands on a bottle not too long after. I adore it. My love for it has only grown. The sillage is magnificent on this. Another powerful fragrance that I think needs cooler weather. I've never tried to wear it in anything above like 50 degrees outside. I just think it would be just overbearing and kind of nasty in a warmer setting. So I kind of lean towards that. What in the South would be wintertime, basically. Anything that falls in the 20 to 50 degree Fahrenheit range, I think is an ideal temperature because certain fragrances need that. Like he was just experimenting with Carlisle. He stepped above that and was like, "Oh, this is awful."
Yeah.
It can really change your experience.
I agree. And, there's a lot of people with the philosophy, and I get it. It's like, wear whatever you want, whenever you want. Don't worry about seasons. Don't let people tell you.
Look, I hear the whole in the Middle East, they wear oud in the summer. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm not going to do that. Everybody can do whatever they want. I
think humans are very adaptable. If that is the norm, then that's what people are going to be adjusted to. If stinky oud under the sun is what everybody knows, then it's normal. That's not what we're used to, at least over here in the West. So whatever.
This is so spicy. Fine. It's got a strange earthiness. Like I said, that rubbery smell. That's why I say red rubber ball. It's got a rubbery tone to it. It's a very oddball fragrance. Kind of like I put this in now. When I say I put these in the same category, nothing alike in scent, but fragrances like your Ganymedes and like these weird off the rocker. Some people, it's like a cult following for certain ones, and some people think they're disgusting. There's a pile of fragrances like that, and I would say 70% of the time I'm fondly attracted to certain fragrances, and that's kind of how I feel about this because I understand that it's a very polarizing one that more people don't like than do. And it's actually my favorite Parfums de Marly fragrance. With decants and sampling, I've gotten my nose on about 15 of their offerings at this point. And this is my clear-cut favorite. I'm a Kalan fan.
I dig it, man. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some real, genuine revisiting with Kalan. I'm so glad that we did this because I just came back to it today. And I'm like, dang. this has hit me different. I might have to really dig into this. I'm seeing some funny comments. There's been some other clowns who have popped through here.
Oh yeah,
I'm
so
just seeing, I'm loving this
I
finish from
viewed
Jared.
I viewed
Flawless
some of the hidden
victory.
comments that Jared's done.
Okay.
Man, there's too many people that are in love with me. It's unreal.
Yes. Yeah. It's like,
It is
guys,
wild, man. It is
I just
wild.
love this.
Thank you, Dope Fiends, for your support.
Get over here.
You know?
Yeah. You
Jesus.
guys are great, man. You guys are
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mortal Kombat.
I'm sure Justin appreciates the engagement. I mean, you're not going to have 290 people in the live chat in the fragrance community and not have some TLTG haters. Come on.
Of course, man.
Yeah.
No, you're bringing them out.
Hey, man, I'm glad we could get them over here for some monetized watch time.
Yeah. Yes. Thank y'all. You know, thanks for showing love. We appreciate it. Even though your words are showing hate, your actions are showing love. So we appreciate it. That's what matters the most.
I really do.
Yes.
I really appreciate it. Like I said,
we
I'm
got
glad you
another
guys
one.
showed out.
We got Barry Jackson in here.
Oh yeah, I went ahead and blocked him. Yeah.
Okay, goodbye.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on here now because since they're coming in droves. I mean, hey, 294 people, the number's growing. Can we get to 300?
Come on, y'all.
Can we hit 300?
Share with
Make sure. I know you guys are telling your friends that's going on. Make them bring them over.
Bring them on in.
Bring them
okay,
over.
real quick.
With your support, we could get to 100,000 subscribers sooner than later.
Why not, guys?
We're trying. We have goals. Help us achieve them.
Why not, guys? Real quick, before I announce my last one, which is probably clear to most people, I'm going to do a quick recap for those who may have come in late. Number 7 for both of us was Greenley. I just had my little 10 mil. It's not getting any bigger than this. It's only going to go down and then goodbye. Number 6. Number 6 for Ross was Layton Exclusif. That's right. For me, it was Percival. Solid sense, both of them. Number 5 for Ross was Sedley. That's right. Sedley. And for me, it was Kalan, which will probably convert to a full bottle. Number 4 was, remind me, Carlisle. That's right. Fall from Grace, but that's all right. Still good stuff.
The Fall from Grace.
Yes.
It used to be my number 1.
Number 4 for me was Sedley. Solid stuff. Number 3 for Ross was Layton. Oh, right?
Yeah, number 3.
Did we really? For some reason,
Kalan was number 4. My Carlisle was 4 for me. Kalan was 4 for you. Yeah, we're on track. Then Percival was 3 for me.
Oh, Percival. I thought that was Layton for a second. Okay.
No, Layton's my number 2.
Yes. So
Percival
number 3 for Ross. Layton is my number 3. It's a fan favorite. Got Layton was my 2 for Ross. Carlisle's my number 2. And Ross's number 1 was that bright red bottle.
Stands
red
out,
ball.
man. It stands out.
We got Kalan. And my number 1 is Layton Exclusif.
There we go.
I
totally get it.
I will say this funny little story, very brief, not all that severe, but memorable. When I had that decant before I had this bottle, I remember wearing it. I was so excited. I think I just gotten the decant at this point, and I was wearing it to a music performance. I wasn't performing. I was just there to watch. And I think it was like late summer. So it wasn't hot, but it was warm. It was like a little muggy, but not a high temp. So I thought I'd get away with it. It was in the evening time. I think from that decant, I was like, oh, decants don't spray that much. So I'm going to double up on what I would normally do from a bottle. I think I did like 8 sprays, thinking like, oh, this is maybe 4. Maybe 3 to 4 from a bottle from the decant. So I show up, walking in like shoulders back,
feeling good
out.
Jesus.
And no one said anything, but I was keeping an eye on people's eyes as I was passing them, as I was standing near them. It was a little crowded in there. And I remember standing near some people and like seeing some heads kind of turn and people kind of migrating away and stuff, and I was like,
strong ass funky fragrance.
I think this is a little bit much.
And that was decant sprays. That's not big sprays. That was
decant, exactly. So I learned my lesson with that real quick. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get this bottle. I'm gonna do no more than 3 when I wear this, and it's been perfect for that. It has a little bit of the playfulness of Layton, but it's darkened up. It's made it a little bit more serious, maybe a little bit more elegant. I wouldn't say it's like sophisticated smelling. It overall, it's kind of a rambunctious scent profile. It is an attention-getting profile. As you're talking about, the animalics in here definitely add an edge that catches attention and can easily become too much.
Yes, that's a
you
lesson.
overspray it.
You made that face when you said 8, like that. You're bold.
Yes, no, just idiotic.
Yeah,
A little bit of coffee in here.
we call it uninformed.
Yes, uninformed.
Yeah.
I think there's a beautiful coffee note in here. I think there might be some oud. I don't know. There's some darker elements that really
I think it's Cambodian oud, actually.
Okay.
Some of the sweetness.
Yes, for sure. And this is one of those flankers that is so well done that it doesn't make it redundant to own both.
No, definitely not.
They are kind of different fragrances in some ways.
But you do smell Layton.
Yes, it's in there.
Very
undeniably.
much.
It's like that is the backbone. Without Layton, there'd be no Layton Exclusif, of course. But they're both worth having in some ways, if you love them both, I would say.
And that's actually, because I know you haven't tried Pegasus Exclusif yet, it got the exact same treatment. It's exactly the same differences, oud, animalic, stuff like that, darker, and in some ways more superior. Much more. It's a superior fragrance overall. I know a lot of people love that one. Some of them would love to hear that side. I saw in the comments some people were interested in seeing that. But yeah, that's one that I'm kind of surprised you've never smelled. You'd probably enjoy it. How do you feel about the original Pegasus?
You know, I haven't smelled it in a couple years. I do like it. From my memory, I can kind of conjure the scent profile in my, mind's nose, whatever you want to say. It's and for that reason, I really appreciate it, because if I can smell a fragrance without smelling it, there's something special about it. That kind of sweet, creamy, but like fresh metallic vanilla,
metallic and cold vibe. It's weird.
Yes,
how it's able to capture that.
Yes, so I do like it. I do want to revisit it again. It's been some time, but I smelled it enough to know it pretty well. So I am definitely interested in the Exclusif, and I don't remember why I haven't tried it.
Now take that and add dark animalics, just right on top of it.
Okay,
that's what it is, basically. That's the most simple way I can describe it. It's really good. I need to get a bottle. My decant's been gone for a couple of years, like 3 years now. I only had like 3 ml of that, but it's long gone. It's really
good. What I wonder, because Parfum and MARLY, they've done 2 Exclusif flankers, and as far as I can tell, at least in the fragrance community, they've been hits. Like both of them have been elevations of the original. So I would imagine they might keep doing that. I don't know. I mean, they haven't done in the past few releases have been totally different, kind of new, which is cool, but not as special as what has come before, I would say. But if they were to do another Exclusif, I wonder what it would be. I wonder.
Well, we have a comment asking if we think there would be a Exclusif, and I think that would be the glaringly obvious one.
They also did Delena. Forgot about that.
But I think Herod would be the obvious.
Yes,
like the guy in the comments is saying. I would think that would be the obvious choice here, because if you look at their library, that would be the most welcomed among the major releases.
I totally agree. Yeah, it's one of the OGs of the brand in terms of ones that have been out for some time and have been mainstays. They've been on shelves since they've come out, which is always a great sign, and people have loved it. So I mean, I'd like to see it. I'd be down for some Herod.
I'd be
Exclusif, because the original is awesome.
That's one that you hear notoriously about Reform. You hear people complain all the time about that.
Yes,
I do, anyways.
For sure. And I can attest that it's different. I remember my old bottle. The scent, from what I can remember, the scent is the same, but it's definitely not quite as long lasting. But it's like when people talk about Cedroc Boisé, and people are like, man, it was an 18-hour fragrance. Now it's an 11. It's trash. And it's like,
I don't think you'll have anybody saying newer versions are 11 hours in here. They're going to say 4 and 5. Probably.
Yes. No, I mean, I'm just talking about for me, this newer bottle, I'm getting 8. No
That's
problem.
Plenty.
8. It's fine.
Plenty.
Now, my older bottle, I would smell it the next day. Like I'd wake up the next morning, I'd hop in the shower, and as soon as that hot water hits my skin, it's activating it. And I'm like, Harry, wow. Like 18 hours later, 20 hours later, whatever. But I don't need that. Like I don't need to go to bed smelling a fragrance. Like,
No,
and that's just me. So I don't. It's fine.
I'm with
It's
you.
8.
That's
8
why I
is cool.
say my wheelhouse, as I call it, 6 to 8 hours. I don't need more.
Yeah.
I don't want less unless the situation calls for less.
Exactly.
You know?
And this is a profile. I'm wearing this night out in the cooler weather. I'm not out for
4 or 5
8-10 hours. Yeah. You know, if you're going to be hanging out till like 4 or 5 in the morning, then wear a fragrance that's going to last. Don't expect something like that to last. But if you love the scent, I think it functions just fine. I don't get 4 to 5. I think that's kind of lowballing it from my experience. But obviously, your mileage can and will vary.
Will vary.
Yes. Let's take a few little questions here if you got some time.
Let's do it. Absolutely.
Before we bounce.
I see one Joel asked. I don't know if how far down you are.
Is it this one?
Yeah.
Which one do you like the most? I'll Harmony Stallion. Oh, okay.
So this is one of those.
Stallion.
This is one of those situations where the clone's a dead ringer.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's a dead ringer. The quality is about the same. The scent profile is pretty much spot on. The performance is what and what. That's one of those rare occasions that I would say, yeah, you really could. Like it renders my bottle of Pegasus useless. If I was to wear that scent profile all the time. I don't need both. I have both.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a dead ringer. I did a review on that years ago, back like beginning of 2020. Dead ringer.
I do remember getting it back in 2020, the Stallion, and I felt the same way. I'm like, this is Pegasus. It's kind of scary.
And everybody's like, arm off craze. And look, I'm just going to tell you, based on my experience, Harmine, their oils are a little bit better quality than what Arm Off uses. I'm sorry. I've never tried Craze, and the Harmine's so good, I would never even bother.
Craze was not it for me. Craze
I've never tried it.
Kind of sickly for me.
Yeah.
Not bad, but if I had to choose between Craze and the original Pegasus, I would do Pegasus all day long. But you put Pegasus next to Stallion, now you got some challenge going on. Let's see. Any other? I see more people chiming in about exclusives. People
Carlisle.
saying Carlisle. That'd be something. That would be something. I don't know if we need that.
As long as they do it right, because it's so strong. Because look, Intense Red Tobacco, that was the other part of my live stream with Altair. It's not. It's so poorly named.
So
Red Tobacco
you
is
have
more
tried
powerful.
it.
Red Tobacco is more powerful.
Okay.
The beauty of the Intense Red Tobacco is it's much more dry, leathery oud.
Okay.
It's smokier. The sweetness, that pungence of sweetness is muted greatly. So Intense Red Tobacco is gorgeous. It's just not appropriately named. It's not stronger or more in your face than Red Tobacco. And it's not so redundant that I think you can't own both, because I'm going to get Intense Red Tobacco. It is lovely. It's just not what the name would make you think if you have Red Tobacco experience.
Got it. I mean, it sounds like a more refined, more palatable version of the original.
Yeah, it's like I said, they dialed up the animalics, made it more of a leathery facet, and toned back the sweetness greatly.
Okay, I need to try it. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's really good.
I didn't really care for Red Tobacco, which I know is blasphemy for
you
some
probably
people.
like this one more. It suits your taste
like
a bit better.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Here's a quick question from Michael. Any PDM not listed that you would rank above? Let's see, like if ranking maybe near the top of the list, like 1 or 2, is there any that you think would slide, maybe even number 2 out?
No, not for me, because just on bottles alone, I have Galloway. What else is not in here that I have a bottle of? I'm drawing a blank right now. Where they wouldn't top the top 2 or 3. I have Pegasus.
Yeah.
Which they're all really good. I would still take Kalan and Layton over them.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
They legitimately my top 2 of all of the ones I've tried.
Okay.
You just happen to say rank these. I was like, oh, this is easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was only a few there, Carlisle and Layton Exclusif. It was kind of like, some people can be unhappy with me here.
For sure. No, my the only 2 bottles that I have that were not here is Herod and Darley. And Darley for me that's one that's not talked about very much. I like it, but it's kind of similar to Reflection Man, and I prefer
more like
Reflection
Lamal
Man.
to me.
It's kind of a mix. to me. I get like the quality of reflection, man, with a little bit of the scent profile of Lamal.
I
And
love
I
Dark.
just, yeah, I like it. I like it.
It's really good.
Unfortunately, it's pretty white floral forward with which my wife is not crazy
Super
about.
redundant to a lot of things, though.
Yes, my
Prada
wife,
Roasted Sport, Lamal, Reflection, man.
yeah,
Just if you
it's,
have those, you don't. That's what stopped me from buying a bottle.
yeah.
I have a
So,
decant. I've had a decant for years, a sizable
yeah.
one. And it's not
So,
spoiled. It's really good. We used that decant in a blind smelling rate when we got together one time.
oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with
So,
Anthony and Andrea.
that's right. Yeah. So I do like Darley. Herod, honestly, Herod would be my number 2
Oh
if it
shit.
was here. It would have just bumped the whole list down one slot. So Carlisle would be number 3, Layton number 4. Herod for me, I think it's just because it goes way back for me. Is my first love from the house, my first one I ever smelled from the house. For whatever reason, I just love the scent profile. Warm, spicy tobacco, a little bit of a dried, fruity feel. People say it's similar to like tobacco vanille. I can kind of see that, but it's its own thing. It's its
Yeah,
own thing.
not a ton.
Yeah, it's in the
Vibe,
wheelhouse.
yeah, scent profile, not exactly.
I agree. Yeah.
There's a lot of
Okay.
fragrances that get that tobacco vanille comparison. Like the glaring one I think of is Manhattan EDP from Raja. Whereas I think that's got much more florals going on for it.
Yeah, I don't really get tobacco vanille
I
much
get where people are
from
coming
that.
from with it, but I get so much more floral that makes it its
It's a
own thing.
way softer personality.
I wore it
Tobacco
last
vanille is
week.
real punchy. Yeah, in fact, Grace wore that, I think, just last week as well. Smells
Yeah, I wore
great
it
on
like
her.
Thursday or something like that of last week.
Yeah, yeah. Hobdon, I actually still have not tried from what and I think I do have a decant of Hobdon somewhere,
I do.
as well as
I don't think I've sprayed
Oajon.
it.
Yeah, I have Oajon too. Both of them are good, but it's been some time since I've smelled them. Let's see. Ooh, how would you compare Vanilla Oud to Herod? They're different. They're quite different. Um, yeah, I couldn't even say like it's hard to even compare them. They're not like completely different, opposite ends of the spectrum, but they don't remind me of one another to the point where having both makes total sense.
Nah.
Vanilla Oud is more this kind of like almost roasted vanilla. Like there's a slightly delicious
like a burnt vanilla smell a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, with that woodiness. There's maybe a little bit of fruit that's kind of in there, but it's
a lot of
really
saffron.
a lot of saffron as well. They're not really that comparable to me. I'd say try them both if you're interested in
Justin,
both
since he has such a fondness for Herod, may not like my answer, but I think they're in different classes. Because I hold vanilla oud.
I mean, if you had
there, I love it. It's
it's
my five of about 1,500. It's in the top 5 overall.
I feel you. I mean, if you made me choose between Herod and Vanilla Oud to keep only one, goodbye Herod. It's been great.
I would hope. It's your fault that I've put so much hype behind that fragrance in the first place. It smelled phenomenal on you all day, like 15 hours. It's crazy.
It's pretty wild, man.
It's crazy.
I can't wait to bust that out more this season.
Same.
Rob, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate your appreciation. Thank you very much here. Phoenix is corroborating Vanilla Oud is perfection in all caps.
It's so good. Look, I understand not everybody's going to feel that way, but it seems like the majority that have gotten experience with it love it.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen people say it's really good, but I don't love it. And I've heard people say it's absolutely incredible. And not much deviation from those two things. No one's been like, this is subpar, this is mediocre. Like, no, it's good. And if you don't like it, you're trying to not like it. I think we're talking about Vertus Vanilla Oud. Good stuff. Tay de Parfum, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate your good vibes. Thank you, man.
Appreciate that. I gotta say that the bouncing off each other chemistry, it helps that we're really good friends. I think that's what really works for us in these live streams.
It's been some years.
So, yeah,
it pays off. Been some years. So, in fact, I think Grace just texted me. She was saying that she was probably gonna have a break from work and wanted to go for a little walk. We got some beautiful weather here today, so
So
I
y'all
might
know what
jump
that
off
means.
here. It means
Bye, guys.
we are going for a walk. Yeah, I might just do another couple minutes, then I might pop out of here.
All good.
Um, yeah,
Let's do a hard stop at an hour and a half. That's 5.5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Make sense? Sound good?
Yeah, that works for me. What is this? 1001 bottle? I don't know what that is,
I don't know what
Michael.
that is either.
Maybe drop a link in the chat and let's verify that before you pull the trigger. Spencer.
That's not what I meant, by the way.
I know, and I thought that's what you meant.
I meant to shut the stream down.
Yeah. Yes. No, that's
Yeah.
not what it is. Go for
No, I didn't mean
small.
that's what you kids are calling it these days.
No, it's really like a unusually beautiful day out today for mid-October.
It's been pretty. There's no clouds here either. It's a beautiful day today.
Yeah, it's pretty warm too. People are asking where we rank Halton.
All the time. I haven't tried it.
Yeah, for me, out of the 7 I put up here, this is gonna, from what I remember about it, and I haven't worn it, so this is not the most fair ranking. I would probably slide it in at number. If I was gonna make this a top 8, it would be number 7. For me, it beats Greenley.
Not like
so, it is what it is. But I have to wear it, so I can't really say for sure. See, Julius, this is not fair. Guys, only one fragrance you can keep.
I can't do that. I can't. I don't think I can.
I mean,
that you could ask me every hour and it would be a different fragrance.
Yes. Every hour. Yeah, I mean, fragrances are not too different from clothing. If you had to choose one t-shirt to wear for the rest of your life.
Yeah, you want to be a cartoon character?
Yeah.
The same outfit forever for as long as the show runs?
We can't do that, man. We can't. If like Hey Arnold, I think about his little button-up shirt under the sweater with hanging out the bottom. Like that was every day for him. It's like I can't do that. So I can't pick one. Sorry.
Yeah, I just can't.
Devin, thank you for the super chat. Bluegrass Muse. For some reason, that doesn't ring a bell. You have to remind me what that is. So yes, I haven't tried it. I guess have not heard of that one. Would Altair break into the top 7, Ross? Ooh,
not for me.
Okay,
I would take Greenley over it, and I have a feeling. have a feeling Justin would take it over Greenley though.
Oh, I mean, we'll see.
Justin, you gotta like Dominant Orange Blossom. And it dries into a lot of wood and vanilla. That's been my experience, but it's right away Orange Blossom. Have you smelled Montal Wood and Spices or Nico's Sculpture?
Neither.
I find them to be quite similar to it in the opening because of that Orange Blossom dominant. But as long as you like Orange Blossom, you'll find it nice. It's nice. It's just so similar to those to me. And then it dries down into kind of a generic vanilla woody smell to where it's like, I can't justify it. I just can't. It's nice, but not nice enough. And I know that's a bold statement to some talking about Greenley and Percival and Sedley and all that, but they speak to me more. They just do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can't manufacture that. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to trying it. My hopes are not high.
You may very much enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean,
take my word at face value. Be your own judge.
I am not generally a huge Orange Blossom fan, but my only real experience that I didn't like with Orange Blossom, that in terms of being Orange Blossom forward, was from a Penhaligon's fragrance, which I don't even remember the name of. And it was very, very Orange Blossom heavy. And I found it repulsive. I had a bottle. I don't even remember. I think you remember Corbin from Northwest Scent.
Of course.
Yeah, he was at a Perfumania because he was in my area. And he's like, hey, I'm at this Perfumania. He was texting me like they have this very rare Penhaligon's fragrance. I've heard great things about it. They got 2 bottles here. Each of them is $40. Like, you want me to pick one up for you? I'm like, yes. So he picked it up. He brought it over. And I remember he had already smelled it by the time he got to my house. And he's like, I'm like, how is it? He's like, I'm just going to drop yours off and I'll see you later. So he left. I sprayed him like, oh, it was just like this weird, like like old potpourri kind of like, and I'm like,
It doesn't smell like that. I'll tell you
okay,
that.
okay,
But I'm not the only one that gets done. Like my live chat that's tried it for that stream was all about, oh, it's orange blossom. It's all orange blossom. And that's
okay,
pretty much what I got from the start too. A lot of orange blossom.
okay. This is Ryu versus
That's kind of
Kim.
funny.
Oh, there you go.
It's kind of funny.
That is awesome. So awesome here. Well, you guys have all been such a wonderful just addition to this fun little stream. Again, this was kind of an experiment. I imagine you guys might want to see this again. Let us know by liking the video if you're here. I mean, 231 people still sticking around. Like,
We
again,
got to
thank you
almost
guys.
300. It was 290.
I did see that. I did see that.
That was when
And
all the trolls
so-
showed up.
They really
So you lost
bolstered the
about
numbers.
60 or 70 trolls.
Yes, yes, they all came in and got blocked and left.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would. I think. I mean, I'm sure you're down to do this again.
Honestly, I have a question for you guys that are here. Would y'all like to see us do this with Raja Dove? Because that was my idea when he's
Okay.
like, which house should we do? I threw that
Okay.
out there. And he
Okay.
posed a great argument that those were sent to us. So I totally get if you guys wouldn't want to see that, because I mean, not everybody believes us that we're being honest because they were free. There's a stigma with that. I would like to think those of you that watch us on a regular basis have gotten to know us well enough to know that's not how we operate.
Yeah.
But because we have such a wide range of those, that's why I thought it would make for a good option. Because I think our 7 would be wildly different if we just ranked a 7 and didn't say, hey, rank these. Just rank your
Sure.
7 favorite.
Sure.
It would be quite the varied list, I think.
I think you're right. Yeah, because we both have quite an array of Rajas. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that we like some of them more than others. I mean,
Yes.
and we can happily say that. It's no problem. So the ones that don't make the list, you know, they're still good, but maybe not our favorites. So as long as, you know, everyone understands that, I think it'll be a fun time. So I'm down. It looks like people are down. I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Yeah, yes, yes. Pete
I think it'd be a
Spencer's
fun
thinking
one.
Reckless number 1. I don't know. We'll have to see. Edgardo saying Raja. Okay, so
Maybe.
no haters in the chat. I appreciate it.
No, they left already.
Yes.
They left already.
Oh, y'all should do a poll. Maybe I'll do an official poll. We'll probably do it actually over on Ross's channel if we do it again.
We certainly can. We usually go back and forth. That's usually the case. Like a little over a month ago, we were on much. And actually, out of the blue, for the reaction video for his last satire series, we actually ended up having him on. So that was nice. That was less than 2 weeks ago.
That's
a week and a half ago or something like that. So that was kind of spur of the moment. That wasn't like we didn't plan it for 2 or 3 weeks out like we typically do.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So yeah, so I think that'll be the next move. We'll do a Raja version and we'll keep
it. Seems like overwhelmingly yes for the most part.
Yeah, I haven't seen any no's. So yeah, well, that's probably what we'll do next, which will be fun, and we'll keep it open. So, you know, we'll just choose our own 7 each and see what we choose.
Can we take one more?
Yeah.
The Good Folk 360, the Gucci Guilty Absolute question. We're the right 2 people for this one.
Do you guys really like Gucci Guilty Absolute? I cannot wear it without smelling like a plastic factory. I just saw Curly Fragrance put out a video today talking about fragrances she does not like. I'm wondering if you saw that, but nonetheless, it sounds like you don't like
She
it.
doesn't like Gucci Guilty Absolute?
She put it in there and just said it stinks. And that's
well, that's the gospel now.
Yes.
It's the gospel. Guys, throw your bottles away.
Yeah. I mean, and
you
I
thought
like,
you liked it. Throw it away.
Yeah. I mean, I never have any problems with anybody saying they don't like something I like. If you have a problem with that, look in the mirror, and life is much harder than that.
I'm not, by the way, guys, because I know I have to explain this.
Yeah.
I'm not taking a shot at Michelle.
Yeah. No,
I love Michelle. The shot I'm taking at is the tribalistic viewers.
Yes. Who were like,
she said it's trash. It's trash.
I guess I'm gonna sell it on eBay, sell it on Mercari, whatever. Yes. Now, Gucci Guilty Absolute is one of those fragrances that I like it a lot, but not in the sense of like I want to wear this every day. You know, just as a scent, like I can just pick up the cap and it just hits me. I may not even wear it all the time, but I just love smelling it. it is just so unapologetic, and there's this elegance to it for being so brash. So yes, I like it. I think Ross feels the same way.
I'm gonna step it up to love it. It's my
Okay.
favorite Gucci fragrance of the like 7, 8, 9-ish
It's
bottles that I
definitely
have.
my favorite of the ones I have too. It's easily my favorite.
I'm so in love with that fragrance, and I have the same sentiment as Justin. I don't wear it hardly ever. I like to pull the cap and sniff it, or I'll spray my hand and just enjoy it for a few hours until maybe I take a shower. That's how I enjoy that fragrance. It's very woodsy, dry, green, leathery. I've never found it to be as daring as some have made it out to be over the years. But then I can also take a step back and look at it as if I was somebody that's used to the Macy's fragrance counter,
Yeah.
maybe this is a little daring for being a designer fragrance. So I'm able to take a step back and look at it from that perspective.
For
But
sure.
for an enthusiast, somebody that's really into it as a hobby, any of you guys that treat that you have more than 10 fragrances, you're a hobbyist at this point with this
Yep.
fragrance.
Yep.
That's a small collection that most people would be like, I can't believe you have 10 bottles. What we have is overkill, beyond
Yes.
overkill. But point
Yes.
being, you owe it to yourself to experience it. I know it's been discontinued at this point, and if you have an opportunity to experience it, I would advise you to do so, because I do enjoy it that much. It is one of my favorite leather-based fragrances. It's one of my favorite dry, earthy fragrances as well, because it is both of those things.
Yeah,
And
truly.
it's uber masculine. Like any
Seriously.
lady that wants to wear that, they're going to smell quite masculine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a strong personality for
Yeah.
sure. And it's okay if you don't like it. The good folk.
Yeah.
It's okay if you don't like it. If you are trying to make yourself like it, that means you don't like it. That's okay. I mean, I don't know if you bought a bottle of it. If you did, maybe hold on to it, see how you feel in a year.
You'll be able to sell it though. You will. You will be
Yes.
able to sell it. I can
Yes.
assure you of that. Wait the year he's talking about, because the prices are going to skyrocket, for one thing. And then
Yeah.
secondly, you may feel differently later if you revisit it. That's the main point he's
Exactly.
making.
Exactly.
But there's 2 points to it. That's why I wanted to jump in.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
there's nothing wrong. Like what you like. Like what you like. Because it's not a sexy fragrance. So I'm not surprised that Michelle is not a fan. It's not that kind of appeal.
No.
It's a conversation starter. It's that kind of fragrance.
Yep. I agree. So I appreciate it highly.
Same.
Okay, well, unfortunately, I think that is my time. My wife has texted me saying, "Hey, I'm ready when you are." And she's outside, guys. Okay, she's not in here waiting on me. So you guys with your little ideas, you can put your
Oh,
ideas
man.
down and
That's
know that
funny.
we're being real here. But I want to thank again all of you guys for hanging out with us, for chiming in, supporting this little experiment. We will definitely be doing it again, and it'll just get even more fun, I think, for the next one. Ross, I want to thank you for coming onto my channel and just playing along with this. Again, didn't know what to expect. So I appreciate you being a good sport and just bringing some good energy, as always.
I appreciate you having me on, man. I like that we keep experimenting with the topics and what we want to cover, because for as limited as fragrance content can be, sometimes it seems like the way we do live streams is almost limitless.
Yeah,
because of the interactivity of it.
exactly. And I think we're taking some chances in terms of topics, right? Topics that you're not seeing everywhere in live stream formats, that is. So yeah, we'll just keep it going. It's a good train. We'll keep it moving.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Of
Thank you
course.
for having me,
Yeah.
Justin. Guys, I appreciate all you being here, showing love, showing support. Thank you to all the trolls for coming get those numbers up. Tell a friend to tell a friend, like Buck
right.
likes to say, tell a friend to tell a friend.
That's right. All right, y'all. We will see you in the next one. Everyone take care. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.